What is up YouTube, and today we're going to be talking all about Elvira. Once again, you guys are probably wondering why I have so many videos talking about this unit. Well, it's because there have been so many changes, so much drama, and even a buff slash nerf, and even a recall going out. So actually, if you pulled this unit before the 18th, which was the patch where she actually got somewhat of a rework, then you can actually recall her if you actually want for another RGB 5-star of your choice, barring collab units and also limited units. So basically, there's a lot of drama going on, or there was actually, and she kind of got changed, and people thought that she would be changed for the worse, but after looking at the changes, she's actually a pretty decent unit, and it actually makes her a pretty strong unit to pull for PvP. So honestly, I think if you guys want to recall her because you're either new to the game or you guys aren't happy with her kit, I'm going to have a tier list out in the near future talking about what you guys want to recall her for. The recall will go until the 1st of February. But honestly, I'm just going to say that I don't think you should really recall her if you're in the late game because she's so strong. She's an RGB 5-star that works similarly to Bellion in that she shuts down a mechanic that is going to be Fighting Spirit with her S2 here. And actually, you don't even need your immortality to be up to have this Fighting Spirit decrease be activated. Before the rework, what actually happened is you needed your immortality up from your S3 to actually be able to keep the enemy from gaining Fighting Spirit. But with the change, you just needed to be alive on the field, which is pretty easy if you just get your S3 off, get immortality, have a high effect resist, and just actually be somewhat bulky. Before, you actually needed to be somewhat fast to actually get your S3 off, so you can actually stop Fighting Spirit gain. But now she works similar to Bellion, where she just has to be on the field to stop that Fighting Spirit from being gained, which honestly, in my opinion, makes her a lot better and kind of stops her from abusing Prophetic Candlestick because they actually change her S3 not to be changed by cooldown increase and decreases. So I think this unit is a pretty decent unit to pull for if you're struggling against the meta units like Abyss Fine, Navy Captain Landy, Lone Crescent Blona, Lionheart Sermia. She's extremely good. She will get banned out a lot of the times in RTA when you pick her into those units, but picking a force ban is always a good thing, and having this unit for Guild Wars offense and arena offense will make your roster just that much stronger. I honestly think she's almost must-pull worthy for PvP players. If you're newer to the game and you're not really focusing on PvP too much, she's not really a must-pull, but she's still very good to pull for because she will actually help you climb an arena. She's good in arena offense teams for auto teams, so you don't even have to play through it. And she's very good for Guild Wars offense as well. And she's a staple in the meta, and honestly, she'll always be good as a counter pick because there's already a ton of Fighting Spirit units in the game that are good, including like Apoc Ravi, who sometimes comes back in the meta pretty frequently, especially if Frenzy changes. And also because she's kind of future-proof, right? Because Fighting Spirit is a core mechanic of the game, and it's actually going to be a big resource for even future units. So right now she counters the meta. Later on, she probably will counter some other units that come out. So I think she'll be a pretty decent unit to pull for, given the current state of the meta and also for what the future lies. So yeah, she's pretty good for her artifact. This artifact's pretty much only going to be good on her for World Arena. Obviously for Arena and Guild Wars, like regular Arena, this doesn't really matter too much because there's not really soul gains for the NPCs. So you only want to get this if you want to play her in RTA. Otherwise, you can run her on a ton of other artifacts that are good that are for thieves. You can even run her on Hostess of the Banquet. This one's pretty decent because it gives her a ton more effect resist, and also her S3 hits harder on healthier targets, so this makes your S3 hit pretty hard. I think with this you can hit on Navy Captain Landys for like 6k almost, which is pretty insane for a unit with no stat investment into damage. You can also run her on a common 5-star artifact that gives her more effect resist. You guys probably know once I find it, but it's actually going to be called Bastion of Hope, which is what I have her on currently. This just gives her more ER for herself and even the team, and will make it so that she can't get her immortality stripped by high effectiveness units. Elvira overall, like I said, pretty decent unit for PvP. I don't really think she's worth recalling, but if you guys do want to recall her, everyone has different reasons, or they might already have a lot of counters into the meta units that she counters. I'll be releasing a tier list in the future, but for most players that are progressing into PvP or eventually want to, I think Elvira is a very strong unit, and you definitely want to try to go for her. Now for artifact, only for RTA. If you don't really plan to use her in RTA, you can probably skip this. There's a lot of other options, but still a pretty good one for her if you do plan to play her in World Arena. Now let's talk very briefly about the unit running alongside her. It's going to be Command Model Leica. She's running for only 1 week now. Elvira running for, I think, 2 weeks. A total of 3 weeks total because she got reworked in the middle of it. So yeah, Leica did get buffed. She actually has 100% sleep chance with her S3 now, which is very nice. However, this was her biggest weakness actually, so they did a good job in countering it because her S3 was not 100% sleep, which was very annoying. But however, there is a new Moonlight unit that counters her that's out, and that's going to be Dragon King Sharoon. Sleep is going to activate her S2, so people who are pulling for Dragon King Sharoon just have a free counter to Command Model Leica if she comes into the meta again. Honestly, I don't think this will change Command Model Leica too much, because even though she's a good opener, her speed tier is not that great, so you can actually outrace her pretty easily with like Commander Lilius, Rand, Peyra, just any other opener with high speed tier. And because of that, I think she's not going to be a great unit to pull for. She's also pretty hard to build and pretty niche. And like I mentioned, with the new ML5s that are out, you might have a hard time using her, because I think a decent amount of people have pulled for her, including myself included, because Dragon King Sharoon is pretty fun to use and pretty strong against certain units as well. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Elvira, pretty fun unit. Command Model Leica. After the buff, she's a little bit better, but not that great. I think you definitely want to get Elvira if you want to play PvP. She's just really, really strong right now. So I'm going to say she's pretty much a must pull. But if you're completely new to the game, you might not need her. Eventually, she'll be available in the story summon if she isn't already, I believe, right? I'm not too sure if she's available. I believe she is. Let me try to see if there's an Ice Thief. Maybe I didn't do her side story yet. But yeah, she will be available eventually because she's part of the story. So if you miss out on her now, it's not a big deal. You'll be able to get her eventually. That's pretty much it for this video though, guys. If you guys pull for Elvira, let me know on how many pulls it takes you. Also, if you guys want to know how to build her, check out my last video talking about my Elvira's build and her stats and how to use her. She's a pretty strong unit, and I definitely think you'll have a lot of fun using her.